So, South Park joining the Panderverse, I think that we could all agree here that this is the one South Park special in 2023 that really woke a lot of people up about the current status of Disney, what's going on between Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy, what they have done to many iconic brands out there, like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and even Marvel at that over at Marvel Studios. I mean, basically we've had Iger and Kennedy wreaking havoc at every single division over at the Walt Disney Company, to the point where it really has gotten out of control. In Lucasfilm's case, you got Kathleen Kennedy really doing numbers on The Acolyte. This is the one major Star Wars project that has received a complete ratio across all forms of social media. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, one thing about South Park Studios and Paramount Global, which by the way, they were the ones responsible for making the masterpiece, and yes, I say it's a masterpiece, that is South Park joining the Panderverse. For one reason and one reason only, it really brought things to a lot of people's attention that may have not been aware of who Kathleen Kennedy was, who Bob Iger was as the Disney CEO, and now nearly everyone knows who they are. That's exactly why I believe that a lot of people are really criticizing Disney for nearly everything that they are doing, you know, day in and day out, basically month by month, when it comes down to their Disney Plus programs, their theatrical releases, which by the way, not too many this year, but focusing on what Trey Parker and Matt Stone have been up to, and what's looming for 2025 is even more alarming for Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy. Now, we talked about this a little bit just yesterday, but there's more to the story about what's really going on here and how Kathleen Kennedy is going to get it yet again by South Park Studios. Now, with both South Park Studios and Paramount Global preparing to create a series of new specials for the next year of 2025, two of which that are reportedly planned to mock the current status of the Walt Disney Company, one major development now involves how both Trey Parker and Matt Stone are set to take shots at Kathleen Kennedy yet again in the form of parody with the Panderverse sequel that will go under a brand new title that is currently going under the working title of the DEI Special Part 1 and Part 2. Now, one major story element that both Parker and Stone are moving forward with, that South Park Studios and Paramount Global greenlit recently, is that they will be addressing the Acolyte series Backlash in the DEI special for 2025, that will also bring Leslie Headland into the mix in the form of parody as well. Elon Musk is also said to be a parody in this upcoming two-parter event series, or special I should say. One shocking turn of events, however, is that both Parker and Stone are working on the DEI special Part 1 and Part 2 at a slow pace to make sure it will be one of their biggest hits for South Park. Now, South Park Studios already approved the return of Kathleen Kennedy in their DEI special, where Leslie Headland will be portrayed as her sidekick to plague every franchise with DEI agendas. This is the core part of the story that will be considered one of three stories for the upcoming 2025 special that will also center on Bob Iger, along with a deeper dive into the backstory of the Pander Stone. Already, South Park Studios is very happy with their newest special, The End of Obesity, which is one of their newest hits after poking fun at Lizzo in the show. With both Headland and Kathleen Kennedy now planned by both studios for the two-parter special that will serve as a sequel to the Panderverse, the Acolyte series is planned to be mocked as well through the kids of South Park, such as Kyle, Cartman, Stan, and Kenny. The main reason why Trey and Matt want to return to mocking Kathleen Kennedy is due to the fact that it brought in skyrocketing ratings for the Paramount Plus platform, and even South Park fans to join Comedy Central to catch up on the episodes that worked out in the end for everybody. However, both Parker and Stone are also planning to mock the critics of Kathleen Kennedy as well to remain unbiased. And guys, let me just say one thing about Parker and Stone. That's one thing that I really do like about South Park, is that they are unbiased. They are open to mock and parody anybody, anyone, and that's what really makes it a fair actual series. Now, while still, of course, although leaning more toward mocking the current status of Disney and Lucasfilm, that will be the main focus to please the critics of the current Star Wars projects. George Lucas is also planned to return in the form of parody in the upcoming special yet again, that's now only in the early stages as they want to only release this in 2025, when Disney projects will be releasing to make it more relevant for the viewer and the critics. Now guys, we haven't seen George Lucas in a South Park episode in quite some time, so it'll be nice to see whatever they're gonna do there. The Lucasfilm team, such as Kennedy and everyone else affiliated also with the Lucasfilm Story Group, are also said to be aware of what South Park Studios is up to along with Paramount. The main reasoning behind that is that, surprisingly, it was brought to Disney's attention after Bob Iger backed down from taking a legal approach against the studios from the Panderverse episode in 2023 that had no case at all, since it was all parody and fair use. In addition to all of this, Trey and Matt are also planning to mock the new Star Wars series Skeleton Crew, which doesn't release until sometime during the holiday season of this year, as this is yet another Kathleen Kennedy-driven Star Wars series full of DEI hires that will certainly bring in more backlash on a near similar level to the Acolyte. So, look, the Acolyte, I call it the Hackolyte, but when you look at stuff like this, the fact that there's a lot of things going on here with South Park Studios, Paramount Global, mocking Disney yet again, and how this is all mapped out for 2025. You got Elon Musk on, of course, their radar. You know, they're pretty much getting through that lawsuit. You know, both Gina Carano and Elon Musk are staying the course on that. They are going at it yet again. They're making sure that they can do whatever they have to do to get Gina Carano to receive whatever funds that she believes that she pretty much, you know, deserves in the end. Now, at the end of the day, we know that Kathleen Kennedy is not enjoying this one bit. We've talked about this before in the past, that Kathleen Kennedy had a major problem with how she was portrayed in the form of parody in the Panderverse special. She had a very big problem with that back in 2023. It's why she was also attempting to take legal action that went absolutely nowhere. That just goes to show you that there's no legal case when it comes to what Lucasfilm and Disney try to do against the creators of South Park, against the studios behind South Park. And if you've seen what happened with Lizzo, you know, she claims that she doesn't care about how she was, you know, mocked in the latest special at all. But at the end of the day, I mean, really, why would you be making a post to begin with? But when you look at people like Kathleen Kennedy, when you look at people like Bob Iger, they're asking for, at this point, Cartman Kennedy, as I like to call him in the Panderverse special, you know, Cartman Kennedy, who was basically the parody of Kathleen Kennedy, really just was the perfect, you know, way of kind of creating what Kathleen Kennedy really is, what she's been doing to Star Wars, Indiana Jones, what she did to the Willow series. I mean, I think it's something that's very much needed by Parker and Stone. I think that they're enjoying every bit of what Disney is doing because it's giving them a gold mine of parody use for not just 2025, but also for 2026 as well. So overall, I would really love to hear what everyone has to say about the current status of Lucasfilm and Disney getting mocked by South Park, and how this is going to be a very big deal next year, and how Elon Musk and Gina Carano, mind you, they're still on their case to win that legal case to get Gina Carano, you know, pretty much receiving those funds that she believes that she deserves. So overall, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.